Hi, cherished viewers. You are once again welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So, today too, we are here to present to you another episode on Jodha Akbar. So, today we are here to look at Sunday's episode on Jodha Akbar, as Saturday has already been uploaded on the same YouTube channel. We are here to look at what will happen coming Sunday. If you have not watched Saturday's episode yet, you can check our comment section of this particular video. The link is there. You can click on it and then watch Saturday's episode. So before we start with Sunday's episode, like we always do, let's remind ourselves on what will happen coming Saturday on Jodha Akbar. So on Saturday we are going to see the conversation Jodha had with Jalal, where Jalal was in support of whatever Maza has decided about Ruxena and then Aziza, and how Jodha was against it because she feels the decision Jalal took was not good, and Jalal should have taken the decision based on what the other woman was saying. But Jalal also has different options. We're also going to see how Sujaman, dressed as a maid, came to the palace, and then how Maham suspected him and then caught him. We also saw how Sujaman got to know about the painting in Bakshi's room, and how Bakshi irritates Jodha, how the name of Jodha irritates Bakshi, and how Sujaman suspected everything. We're also going to see how Jalal told Ruxe he was going to spend the night with her, and how she decorated the room, and then Maham came there. She thought it was Jalal and then started talking. Meanwhile, it was Maham. And also saw how Maham asked Rooks to be very careful about everything happening to Jodha, and then she should advise herself and talk to Jodha and talk to Jalal about Jodha. So that is what is going to happen coming Saturday on Jodha Akbar. So today we are looking at Sunday's episode on Jodha Akbar. So on Sunday, the episode starts with Jalal coming to Rooks. She greets him and says, "You made me wait a lot today." She says, "Sit." She says, "I asked Dazis to make your favorite dishes." She says, "We will play game." She asks for drink. Jalal in low tone says that I have no issue drinking wine. She gives him drink. He gulps in one sip. He says, "I'm thirsty. I want you to drink with me." She says, "How can I say no to you?" She drinks with him. She says, "Now we'll play game." In Jodha's room, Jodha is sitting sadly. Muti asks, "What happened?" Jodha says, I'm feeling sleepy." Muti says, "You didn't eat dinner." She checks her fever. She says, "You don't have fever. Then why are you sad?" Jodha says, "I don't know what happened to me. Jalal is angry with me. He's not talking to me. I don't know if my perception of or truth." Rooks and Jalal are playing Ludo. She asks, "Is there any problem? I have seen that you are distant from Jodha. You don't talk to her. Is everything okay?" He asks, "Where are we?" She says, "In my room." Jalal says, "Then why are we talking about Jodha?" He says, "If you want to talk about her, then I'll go in her room." She says, "Sorry, don't go. I'll not talk about anyone else." He asks for one more drink. Muti tells Jodha that, "I am your friend. Even then, you are sad. Then what's the need of me?" Jodha stops her and says, "I don't know what happened." Jalal informs Rooks that he will spend the night with her. She's his wife. Then why am I feeling sad? Muti says, "It is good." Jodha says, "I feel like crying and you are saying it is a good thing." Rooks wins the game. Jalal says, "Jodha plays better." Rooks says, "You said we will not talk about her." She again asks if there's a problem. Jalal says, "Jodha lied to me." Rooks says, "I don't think she can lie to you." He says, "I have seen with my own eyes. Even then, she is lying." Rooks says, "Women can put anyone in any condition, one that she doesn't want to hurt, or she does something wrong and want to hide it." Jalal says, She can't do anything wrong." Rooks gives him drink and says, "Jalal's doubt is good for my win." In night, Jalal and Rooks are sleeping closely. Jalal takes off her hand from his. He gets up and drinks. He remembers Jodha going with that man. He throws the glass. He is restless and goes out. Jalal comes to Jodha's room. He's too drunk, but doesn't forget to take off his shoes at the door. He looks at Jodha sleeping peacefully. Jalal sits on her bed. He touches her feet. She takes her feet in sleep. He keeps caressing her feet. He comes closer to her. He leans to her and looks at her. He goes close to her lips and looks at her lips. He recalls the man meeting Jodha and how she pushed him once. He backs off and tries to get up, but falls on ground. Jodha gets up, startled. She looks at Jalal and she is shocked and asks, "What are you doing here?" He says, "At last, you threw me. Now I fall down on my own." Jodha says, "You are drunk." She asks me to get up. He says, "Why did you do this to me? You know I like you a lot. Then, why are you doing that?" Jodha asks, "What are you saying?" Jodha makes him lie down on bed. Jodha turns to go, but her sari is tucked. She says, "Jalal, I respect you a lot. Please leave it." She turns and sees Jalal sleeping. It is tucked under his hand. She looks at him and smiles. She brings the curtain down and says, "Last time I pushed, then things were different, but now it's different." She leaves the bed. Bakshi is sleeping. Suja is in disguise, comes there and blows off the air. He says, "Now I can search for that betrayer." He comes out and search here and there. One Suja asks, "Who are you?" He says, "I am Dilawar Khan, Dasi for Bakshi." He says, "I was going to the kitchen." Suja shows her way. He leaves. He thinks security is tight there. Here, I can't find him. I think I should leave. She turns. Maham is standing there. Maham asks, "What are you doing here?" Dilawar says, "I was going to kitchen but lost my way." Maham thinks Suja is clever. Maham says, This is palace. You can't roam like street." She says, "Don't do this mistake again." He says, "It will not happen again." Maham says, "Stop. You refer to yourself as he instead of her." Maids here calls themselves as women. She asks, "Why did you do that?" He says, We use both and it happened when you are in man's company." He leaves. Maham says, "You can be clever, but I am waiting that when you will go to Jodha as last move, then I will play my card." In morning, maids are doing beauty service for Rooks. One Begum asks about her night. Rook says, "It was amazing. We were drunk. We played game and talked a lot. And in morning, not to disturb me, he left without telling." Begum says, "We feel jealous of you." Rook says, "Be fast because Jodha must wanna know what happened last night." In Jodha's room, Jodha after artist spread its smoke in room. Moti comes there. Jodha shows her Jalal. She says, "Krishna listens to you. That's why he came. What happened between you both?" Jodha says, "Go from here." She goes. Rose comes there and asks, "How are you?" "It's a good morning." Jodha says, "Yes, it is." Rose says, "I thought you might be sleeping as you might have not slept last night. You thought that you are clever by leaving harem, but you lost harem and Jalal too. Last night was beautiful." Rose tells Jodha that now you understood that Jalal is only mine. His days and nights are mine only. Rose sees Jalal sleeping there. Rose is embarrassed. Jodha smiles. Rose leaves fuming. Jalal gets up and says, "My head is itching. Please close this light." He gets water and sees it's Jodha. He says, "I am dreaming." "What are you doing in Rook's room?" Jodha says, "You are in my room." Jalal says, "Why did you brought me here?" Jodha says, "You came here yourself last night. You were drunk." Jalal is stunned and gets up from bed. Jodha says, "You wanted to ask me something last night." Jalal asks, "What did I say?" Jodha says, "You said that I have done something bad to you." Jalal says, "I wanna go." Jodha says, "First tell me." Jalal thinks, should I ask her? Jalal says, "Nothing, I was just drunk." He comes close to Jodha. He looks in her eyes. He leans in and takes water glass from table. They look in each other's eyes. He leaves. Jodha looks on. Jalal is in Shashi bathtub. Rose comes there. Jalal says, "Please give me bath and select my cloth." Ruik says, "Why don't you ask Jodha?" Jalal says, "What?" Ruik says, "Don't be ignorant. You said that you didn't want to talk about her. Then to her room only. Then went to her room only." Jalal says, "I was drunk only. I went to her room only to ask some questions." Ruik says, "You should not think about things which disturbs you." She hugs Jalal and tells him to think about beautiful moments of them last night. Moti says to Jodha that Hosea is sleeping from 3 days. He is not answering me. Jodha says, "I will see him." They come out. Hosea is crying. Jodha asks, "What happened? Any problem?" He says, "I'm missing my army." Jodha says, "I am angry with you. You hide your problem from me." He shows her locket. Jodha says, "It's good." He says, "I came in this world on this worst date. You don't come in man's or woman. Nobody respects us." Jodha says, "Don't think like that. Life is for everyone." You must love your life. Never talk like this again. Jodha gives her bangles to Hosea as a birthday gift. He says, "You have golden heart." Rooks is checking monetary issues. She says there's a lot of corruption in Harem's money. Maham says Jodha have splaggled a lot. Jodha comes there and says, "I want to ask your permission. Today is Hosea's birthday. We want to celebrate it." Rooks laugh a lot and says, "You want to celebrate birthday of a maid?" Jodha says, "So what if he's a maid? He's a human too. They have right to be happy." Rooks says, "He's a servant. He must remain in his limit, and a lot of money has been spent." Jodha says, "Not to worry about money. I'll do it on my own." Maham says, "Rooks is right. Everyone will laugh at you." Rooks says, "Jalal also will not like it, and he must have no time for this stupidity." Jodha says, "Then I will ask permission from Jalal only." She leaves. Rooks laughs. She says she wants to become an angel of harem. On the other side, she meets somebody hiding from all. Jalal told me this in drunk state. She says, "You have to make sure that Jodha keep meeting him and Jalal keeps suspecting her. Then one day Jalal will. This doubt factor can destroy big relations." Maham says, "You are clever." Dilawar is going. Sharif stops her. Dilawar says, "Bakshi told me to take this painting to Jodha's room." Sharif says, "Take this to my room now." Jalal comes there and sees painting of Jodha. Sharif lies that Bakshi made this painting and wanted to give Jodha, but I think it will be good in your room. Dilawar looks at him. Sharif asks him to take this to Jalal's room. Jalal asks about Shuja. Sharif says, "I will catch him." Shuja thinks, why did he lie in front of Jalal? Jalal is looking at Jodha's painting. Jodha comes in. He hides painting. Jodha says, "I went to Rooks to take permission, but she denied, so I came to you." Jalal says, "I don't have time. Say it fast." Jodha says, "I will come back later." Jalal says, "No, you can say it now." Jodha says, "Today is Hosea's birthday. I want to celebrate it." Jalal says, "This will never happen." Jodha says, "But." Jalal says, "When Rooks denied you shouldn't have come here." Jodha says, "He will be happy." Jalal shouts that I said it will not happen. "What do you think? That I will change my decision if you ask again and again? I don't have time for all this." He leaves. Jodha is emotional. So talk. Jodha says, "Everything went wrong. We couldn't talk." Jalal says, "I was angry on something else and was taking on different things." "You lied to me." Jodha says, "I had my reasons." Jalal says, "I never wanted to hurt you, but we were stuck between things." Jodha says, "But I still believe you fully." We see Jalal and Jodha going in opposite directions. That's what, during their soul talk. Rooks laughed that Jodha is going to celebrate Hosea's birthday. Adgar informed Jalal that some maid was roaming in palace last night. Maham says it's not an important matter. She says, "I was checking. I think she's new, that's why he was roaming." Jalal says, "I believe Maham, but tell her not to roam about late at night." Jalal tells Maham that Jodha didn't tell me the truth. My peace will go if she doesn't tell me. I trust her. Why is she keeping silent? I shouted on her today without reason. Maham thinks that why his trust is not breaking. She says you should not question her, as she will think that you are doubting her. She says it's normal that questions are rising as you are husband. When husband sees her wife going out in night, meeting someone and going in heart with him, then questions arises, but you can't doubt Jodha. She is true Rajvanshi. All you can do is to wait and have patience. Maham is happy that now Jalal will not trust Jodha. Never. Javida comes there and asks, why will he not believe her? Maham says, as they have come close, so now Jodha will say that she doesn't love Jalal, then Jalal will not believe her. Javida says, you are so nice. Javida says, I was missing Adam, so I came to talk to you. Maham says you should go to the kitchen then. Javida leaves. Maham have a sigh of relief. Hamida gets to know from Salima that Jodha is celebrating Hosea's birthday. Hamida says she is great. All mates are happy that for the first time this is happening. Risham comes to Hosea and says happy birthday. She informs him or her that Jodha asked for a celebration for your birthday from Jalal and he agreed. Hosea says I'm lucky. Jodha is crying that I just asked his permission, only why he shouted on me. Hosea comes there and says Jalal agreed for my birthday celebration, all because of you. Jalal comes there and looks at Jodha. Hosea thanks him and goes out. Jalal says, I agreed to your wish, then why these tears? Jodha says, if you had to agree, then why did you say bitter words? Jalal says, I can't see tears in women's eyes. and women eyes. Jodha says, if you can't give them, then have courage to see them as well. Jalal says, I was not in a good mood that time. Jodha says, you can say no to me, but the way you talk to me, I was hurt. Jalal thinks that you're also hurting me. Jalal and Jodha comes to Hamida's room. They are called inside. She says, you both made me proud today. She says, it never happened earlier. Your decision will make place in the maid's heart. Jodha says, it's all because of Jalal. Hamida says, your father and granddad must be proud today. Jalal is lost. Hamida asks, what's happened? He says nothing. Jodha asks him to come in celebration. Jalal says, I will be there. He leaves. Hamida says, your husband seems tense. Jodha says, yes, he's angry today. He shouted on me. I don't know what happened. Hamida says, as wife, you should lessen his pain. He doesn't share his sorrows. As a person, he needs emotional support. Jodha thinks that he said because of me. Maybe he's remembering last night how I pushed him earlier. Dilawal asks Bakshi to rest. She says, I was just walking. She's about to fall, but Dilawal holds her and says, you will be on the bed now. She says, Jalal will kill me if anything happens to you. Risham comes there. Bakshi says, you are looking good. She says, Dilawal is more cute. She says, I came to call Dilawal. She says, I can't come. I am with Bakshi. Bakshi asks her to go. Don't worry about me. You should go. Risham says, let's go now. They come in Janshni. Dilawal, Suja thinks, I don't know when I will do my work. In Janshni, all maids congrats Hosea. They all say that you are lucky. Risham comes. Risham says, I am important to Maham. She will celebrate my birthday. Others says that all are not like Jodha. Jodha comes there and gives gifts to Hosea sent by Hamida. Rose comes there and says how Janshni can be done without special begum. Hosea thanks Jodha and Rooks. And Rooks sees it. Jodha asks to start Janshni party. All maids start dancing. Jalal comes there. All maids stand straight. Jalal gives to Hosea. She sits in his feet and thanks him for coming into his Janshni. Jalal says, I announced it, so I had to come. Jalal says, people come in rules. Rules is made by humans, so it can be changed anytime. Jalal says, start Janshni. Rooks asks him to come here. He goes. Jodha is about to go to him, but he looks at her, ignores her and goes to sit beside Rooks. Jodha takes now. I am sure he's angry at me. So this is where we will end Sunday's episode. So like I always say, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, try and subscribe so that our subsequent videos, you'll be the first person to watch them. See you soon. Bye bye.